I think the very first guest I ever had on this podcast was Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee. The Bee has been in the middle of all the censorship battles. Even today, the California Assembly is trying to criminalize the existence of the Babylon Bee. Big tech has silenced it. Congress has done nothing to protect the Bee's free speech rights. And all along, there has been a very smart documentarian who has decided that this is a worthy topic and a worthy company to have a film. Joining me today is that director-producer, Matt Peral, plus Palladium Pictures. That is, I believe, Matt, you consider yourself you are the executive producer of this firm, Thomas Pack. Gentlemen, how did this all get started?
That's right. And that's a great introduction. Thank you for having us. So I work for my family business. My family's been making documentary films for a long time.
The great Michael Pack, well known to many of us.
Right. We recently did one about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. We have a new series with the Wall Street Journal that we make short documentaries for. One now on the Crown Heights riots, one upcoming about the premiership of Liz Truss. So we've been making documentaries for a long time. We started this program to kind of help cultivate the next generation of documentary filmmakers because we feel like there are not a lot of opportunities for anyone outside of the mainstream orthodoxy to, have a say, and there are not a lot of opportunities actually cultivating talent. So this film that I'll tee it up to Matt to talk about is an example of one of the films that came out of this program that we think is an important story that needs to be heard, and it's important that we have these kinds of programs so that talented filmmakers like Matt have a chance to tell it.
Yeah, Matt, what is the name of this film?
The name of the film, Dan, thank you for having us, is The Bird and the Bee, Satire, Social Media, and Censorship. It's the idea behind the film really, for me, came out of the sort of Twitter files release and the realization that the government had direct, contact and direct intervention into social media companies. Social media companies were taking direct input from these government agencies to censor topics, ideas, news articles that should have been up for legitimate public debate, and that social media companies, in a way, because of their internal bureaucracy, were complicit in this. And so I thought I was thinking about a lot about this, and I think I saw Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee speak at an event, and went up to him afterwards and asked him if he would be willing to share his story in a documentary, and that's how this all came to be.
Yeah, Thomas, when you're trying to evaluate the talent coming up and you're trying to pick which film you're going to go, I know it's always a gamble. I've watched this. It is really, really well done. It's really interesting. I encourage all of my viewers to go watch this. Where do people find this film, and how can they get access to it?
Right, great question. So these films, this along with 3 other films that came out at the same time out of the incubator, all came out on Real Clear Politics, which is a new partnership we have with them, which I think is really great, and they're all doing really well. So you can watch it on their website. I mean, if you search The Bird and the Bee, satire, social media, and censorship, it'll pop right up, and you can watch it on the Real Clear website.
Uh-huh. So you can go to the Real Clear Politics website. Is it also on YouTube, the enemy of anything that's good?
And on their YouTube as well. That's right.
At least until it's censored there.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, choosing the evaluating talent part. I mean, for us, some of it has to do with whether it's a good idea. This was a great idea for a film because it's dramatic. There's this tweet that gets taken down, and then these guys had to make this really important decision. Do I click the button that says I'm a homophobe, transphobe, or do I, refuse to do that, and then I'm off Twitter, and then where's my revenue coming from? So we picked it because it was a high drama topic, but also for our program, we're really hoping we're picking the future filmmakers, the documentarians of the future, and we think Matt is that. We had a great film background. We know he has a great visual sense and a good eye for story. So we're interested in the stories and we're interested in the people. So it was those two things coming together.
So Matt, Thomas was referring to that moment when the Babylon Bee published the sort of the faux Man of the Year.
That's
What
right.
was that drama? What happened there?
Well, yeah, as your viewers, many of your viewers probably know, like the Babylon Bee was kicked off of Twitter, banned from Twitter for this tweet that was making fun of, in their opinion, the media. Admiral Rachel Levine is a transgender health admiral in the Biden administration, and Admiral Rachel Levine was named Woman of the Year by USA Today. USA Today had named this transgender person a Woman of the Year, and so the Babylon Bee wanted to make a riff on that. They wanted to poke fun of that because of their viewership of their viewpoint. So they named Rachel Levine their Man of the Year, their pick for Man of the Year, and that resulted in Twitter essentially taking down that tweet and saying that your account is locked, you can't tweet anymore, you can't do anything until you admit that you engaged in hateful conduct and you remove that tweet. And the Babylon Bee wanted to stand behind their comedy, wanted to stand behind the fact that this tweet is something that's part of legitimate public debate, whether or not we should be giving awards for women to transgender individuals. And what resulted from that was that they were locked out of their Twitter account for 8 months. And we go into in the documentary, why that was so important for them, why that was such a pivotal moment for them. And ultimately, what resulted from that was the Babylon Bee getting the attention of Elon Musk, and he reached out to them directly, and in the conversation said that he might just have to buy Twitter to free the bee.
Yeah, I just want to repeat what Matt just said. It was this censorship that really did induce Elon Musk to say, maybe I should just go ahead and buy Twitter to save free speech. So gentlemen, in this documentary film that is about the terrible aspects of big tech censorship, I think you guys probably had to grapple with the question, should you censor something? Because you've got a scene in here where Elon Musk is being interviewed by a prominent journalist, and the journalist asks Elon Musk, what is he going to do about all these advertisers like Disney that are going to boycott him? And Elon Musk famously responds saying, I don't want their advertising dollars. But he uses profanity in that. Did you have a conversation whether you should bleep out his profanity, but then maybe bleeping out profanity wouldn't be consistent with a sort of a documentary on censorship?
I think bleeping out profanity is a different type of censorship than the type of censorship we're talking about here. So it's something we would be comfortable doing if we had picked a distribution model that didn't do profanity. It's okay, I think, to self-censor. Actually, I would recommend everybody self-censor to some degree. Don't just say everything that comes top of your head. And there are sometimes profanity is good, sometimes it's bad. There are other moments of profanity in this film, brief ones too. I think that one thing that it actually accomplishes is, and this is like an important thing to note, is Matt's film is really funny. And some of that comes out in those moments. And I think, Dan, you do this all the time. This is sort of your beat. And so we talk, and it's an important and serious topic, free speech. But this way of getting at it that these guys in Babylon Bee do is really kind of charming. These guys, you get to hear from them, and it reminds you, first off, that there's an irony to this situation. And second off, it reminds you that these are real people with their own personal lives that were drastically affected by this situation that should never have happened, because they should be allowed to post their own jokes,
Yeah. So Matt, you spent a lot of time with Seth Dillon and his team. I think the thing that I was most struck by was really their courage, because it would have been so easy to undo the ban and just say, oops, we're sorry, we should not have posted this. And they held to their guns, and they were very clear. If we go under because of it, so be it, but we have to be able to live with ourselves.
Right.
What kind of conclusions did you draw about the character and nature of these guys at the Babylon Bee?
Yeah, I mean, spending time with them, it's very clear, and I hope it comes across in the documentary that these guys are pretty normal guys. You know, they like hanging out in the office, joking around, talking about the news, and yeah, smoking cigars on the balcony every once in a while. You know, it's one of those things where these are just guys that like to joke around and poke fun at the media, poke fun at the establishment. They do see their comedy as a way of speaking truth to power, but they're not activists. But I think that, like most people, they can see when the overreach has happened, right? Like when viewpoints that should be up for legitimate public debate are being suppressed. And how are we going to speak truth to power if we can't even joke about it? And so I think, to me, that was like the biggest takeaway. It's like, you don't have to be an activist or somebody who's, you know, taking huge political stances. You can just be joking with your friends, putting it out there, and as long as you can stand behind that humor, stand behind your ideas, stand behind your principles, you can make a huge difference in the world.
Well, Matt and Thomas, you've put together a really great top shelf documentary. I really encourage all my viewers to go see it. Artistically, it's done at really the highest caliber. It's got an important message, and it obviously plays or reflects a really vital point in our nation's history, where free speech and the First Amendment were saved, both by the courage of the guys at the Babylon Bee and by Elon Musk, who put his fortune behind saving this platform for the purpose of saving America and our representational democracy. Guys, thank you so much for everything you've been doing with this film, and thank you for joining me here today.